Here's what I do when people close to me and in my life are not awake and appear to don't want to wake up to the lies and deception that are being perpetrated in our world. This is what I do. And the impetus for this video, the inspiration for this video came from a comment on my prior video talking about the biggest threat, biggest problem facing humanity right now, today. And it isn't what you're going to hear on the mainstream media or the government or public health officials. You can probably guess what it is if you are, paying attention. But you can watch that video. It's the prior video in the Hot Topic series. But in this video, based on that comment that I received, which this person was expressing their frustration and, how challenging it can be to try to wake people up, especially if they're in our family, right? We care about people, right? This is what I do. First and foremost, I love them and I appreciate them, and I don't try to push them to wake them up. Now, having said that, I do suggest movies. I don't have the document in front of me, but I do suggest movies and videos from How to Save the World at savetheworldguide.com. Those documentaries help me wake up. So I do that, and sometimes they watch those, specifically the one that is probably the most powerful that I've seen so far. They're all good, but the most powerful that I've seen that really woke me up the most is the movie titled Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. You can find it right here on YouTube. Not gonna lie, it's hard to watch, but it will wake you up and it'll wake other people up. But I will say this, do not watch that if you're not ready for a massive dose of reality and a massive dose of truth, right? That has been suppressed and hidden from us for decades, right? It's all about, it starts in the JFK era and moves up through 9/11. And it is really good. And that's the movie I tell people, hey, if you can get your friends and family to watch this movie, they'll have a massive wake up really quick. So I love people and I appreciate them, and I do not try to push them, because here's the thing. And I've learned this. See, we can understand how to help others wake up by remembering how we woke up, right? And also, having said that, I don't believe that it's like, okay, you're awake now. I believe it is layers. I've always preached this continuum idea in anything, any aspect of life. This continuum of everyone's on a continuum. You're never going to get complete perfection, enlightenment. I mean, unless you're, Jesus or God, but you're going to rise up. Higher levels of awareness, higher levels of vibration, higher levels of joy, higher levels of satisfaction, higher levels of meaning and purpose and passion in your life, right? So the continuum model works for awakening too. I don't believe someone's like, I'm awake, I know what's up, I'm good to go. And the reason I feel that way is because when I watched part 1 of The Real Anthony Fauci, the Robert F. Kennedy movie, it's a 2-part series. When I watched part 1, I was like, you know what? I'm good. Yeah, I know those mofos are corrupt, and I know all this and that and the other thing. I wasn't going to watch part 2 because, like everything in life, everything is a time investment, right? If you continue to watch all these things and don't do your purpose, you've got to have a balance in life. This is why you've got to, be well-rounded. You don't just want to watch all this stuff and not create the things that you came here to create, right? Robert F. Kennedy and the gentleman who made that movie, Jeff Hayes, that's what they came here to create. What did you come here to create? P.S. Plug for the Conscious Creator series that is now started over at focusandflow.co. That is the series of guides that is all about helping you create what you came here to create, because that's another factor in this war that we are in, the war between good and evil. I believe that when when we are all individually doing our purpose and shining our light, being our truest, most authentic self, doing the thing that God sent us here to do, the mission that God gave us, the purpose that God gave us, that's how we win the war, or we advance good and we push back evil. I think that is why the devil has put so many ways to distract us and disorient us and disinform us out into the world. You've got all of the media, all the movies, all the books, all the TVs, all the pornography, all of the distractions that are just pulling our energy away from our true purpose that God intended for us. See, God knows what will bring us the most fulfillment and what will enrich the lives of others in the best possible way. And when we turn away from the world and we turn inward and say, you know what, who am I? What am I? Who am I? How am I built? And then go down that path of purpose, you're going to find your path. And that's the way we win the war, right? It's not we don't directly fight the enemy. We fight them in a tangential way, right? So that's a little bit about the Conscious Creator series. Again, focusandflow.co. There's a link in the description down below. But let me recap. Love them, appreciate them. Know that only God can wake them up, right? Just like God is always sending messages to us, guidance and inspiration through the Holy Spirit inside of us and our soul, right? That he's doing that to them too. Their higher self is trying to give them messages that knows what's up. But because of the distractions, it's challenging, right? And I even think food is thrown in there too. Food and exercise and all those things. It's all a factor, right? But just my thing is this: we cannot wake or force people to wake up. We can't force people to watch this movie, right? It would be nice if we could, and we would really live in a heaven on earth, but that's not just the way that it is. Remember, the level of conditioning, the layers of conditioning that people are in are deep. I mean, we're talking since before birth, right? The information signals from the mother's womb built into the DNA, that's how deep the conditioning is. And so don't get frustrated when your friends and family don't want to wake up. I didn't want to wake up. I tell people all the time, sometimes I wish I could go back to sleep. I don't want to know these things, right? I don't want to know what Bill Gates is doing. I don't want to know what the FDA is doing and or not doing. I don't want to know that 40+% of their funding comes from the pharmaceutical industry, right? I don't want to know that. I don't want to think about the fact that we just gave, in the last 2 or 3 years, billions of dollars to the most, and this is a fact. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. The most corrupt companies on the planet, based on the fines from the Department of Justice, right? All of those pharmaceutical companies have, over the last 15, 20 years, received billions of dollars in fines for making fraudulent, misleading claims about their products to doctors and patients. Pharmaceutical industry created the opioid epidemic. Pharmaceutical industry created the Vioxx nightmare tragedy. So, you're just, it's like anything in life. Love people, pray for their awakening, offer the solutions to help them wake up. But if they don't want to watch it, just love them and appreciate them. That's all you really can do, right? People are waking up. I mean, I have people close to me that, are now more awake and aware to what's going on than they were 2-3 years ago. I'm more awake and aware than I was 2-3 years ago, right? If we stick with it and continually push into and acquire that knowledge, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. So there's my 2 cents on, how frustrating it can be to help people wake up. I hope that's helpful to you. If you have any additional ideas, leave them in the comments section down below. And also, if you have additional resources, and I'm talking about books or documentaries or videos here on YouTube or resources of any nature, articles, whatever, leave them in the comment section down below. Share those things with other people. That's where I get so many of the resources that I put into how to save the world at savetheworldguide.com. I mean, that's where they come from. A lot of them come from, um, if not all of them. Sharing knowledge and information is the way we're going to get out of this mess, right? And this is why it's so valuable to have a social media account and use that account. That's what I use my social media account 100% for, because it's the biggest challenge facing humanity right now. We have to wake as many people up and really do God's work, and that is saving them from the system that wants to gobble them up and consume them, right? Or make them financial slaves, keep them sick and dumb and fat. And what else can we put in there? I mean, what, economic slaves to the beast system. In my opinion, the beast system is already here, and it's been here, right? And Mark Moss talks about this. By the way, if you're not following Mark Moss, go check him out. Mark Moss talks about the fact that we need to build parallel systems that are aligned with God's plan and really do create heaven on earth. That's, again, why I create those guides. Not only the guides to share knowledge and information about what's happening, but the Conscious Creator Guide and all the products in the Focus and Flow store, right? It's a business that I created aligned with truth and what helps people. It's my creation, co-creation with God, that helps people get what they want and create from a conscious standpoint instead of running these patterns. And I'm just as guilty as the next person, running these habitual patterns of thinking. I'm not good enough. I'll never be this. I can't do that. I suck, this and those things. Those aren't going to create the experiences you want in life. What we think about, we bring about. What we focus on expands. What we think about creates our day-to-day experiences. And I got to tell you, if you continue to think negatively about yourself or someone else, it will not be long before you will experience exactly what you've thought. Speaking from experience, and you probably had that experience as well. So thanks for listening. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. Feel free to follow me anywhere on social media at @GMarkPhillips or here on YouTube. And until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.